All right, good day, everyone. This is Coach Harry here, Africa's #1 speed reading expert. I train people from all walks of life to read books faster, to understand better, remember more, and execute aggressively. You're welcome to this academic excellence masterclass where we are going to be talking about study habits. I know some of us are getting to hear from me for the first time. So it's very, very important that I introduce myself like I already did. Please note that this session is being recorded. So that means that everything I'm saying and everything that you are going to be saying will be made available for replay purposes. If you're on this live right now, you have friends, you have family members, students like you. Let's say you are a parent and you have children, or you're an educator, you're a school owner, you have your WhatsApp group where students are. This is the right time to go ahead and share that same link that you click to join so that they can join us. Someone reached out to me in our community who is also a parent, and then she said, Coach Harry, our children, sorry, are resuming next week Monday. That's what she told me. Our children are resuming next week Monday. Is it possible that you do something with them or something for them? And that's what gave birth to what we are doing tonight. So we have been on holiday maybe for less than 2 weeks or about 2 weeks, and then the next 1 week we'll be resuming school again. I'm not sure whether second or third term, but it's very important that we check what we have done or what we are doing, just so that we can see how to improve on ourselves. Because if you are going to have better results, you have to do things differently. You can't be doing things the same way that you have been doing it before, and then you expect that you are going to have different results. Just to let you know, I started my coaching journey with students like you. And the first program I created was an academic coaching program. So this is what led to that. I had finished university, and while job hunting or looking for a job, I just noticed that anytime I see WAEC, NECO, and JAM result, I would usually feel bad because of the poor results or below average results. And I began to ask questions. Why are students failing, or why are they recording below average results? Then I remembered that I failed WAEC 3 times, I failed JAM 3 times, and it took me 7 years to gain admission into university. The same me that failed WAEC 3 times, JAM 3 times, took 7 years to get admission into university. I graduated like top 10 in my department university of over 1,000 students. So if there's anybody that you should listen to when it has come to academic excellence, I am that person. Because I'm not sure there's any of you on this live right now that would even like to fail WAEC once. But I failed it 3 times, failed JAM 3 times, and I got into university. I began to do some things differently because of a training that I had, and everything changed for me. The same thing that I learned is exactly all part of what I'll be sharing with us, tonight. And that was what led me to my academic coaching program. I said, okay, the same reason I failed those years is the same reason students are failing today. It was not because I was not intelligent. I was very, very intelligent, but intelligence alone does not guarantee academic success. You are intelligent, you have a functional brain. That's why you can learn. But the fact that you're intelligent does not mean that you are going to record success in your academics. Intelligence plus discipline, intelligence plus effort. That's what leads to academic excellence. So I had poor study habits. I was hanging out with the wrong people, concentration issues. I used to love football when I was much younger. Even while I was in class, my mind is in the break time so that I'll go play football, and after school hours to go play football. I had issues with exams. I had issues with focus, and I really didn't have people to guide or to train or to mentor me. I had issues with remembering stuff. You know, in school, they expect us to remember, but they don't teach us how to remember. That's why we say that learning is good, but learning how to learn is more important. And it has become 21st century most important skill. So once more, I want to say a very, very big thank you for joining us live. We're about 24 on the live right now. Keep sharing so that others can also join us. We are going to start this session with a little bit of interaction because for many of us, this is the first time that you are getting to see me. Our topic is smart study secrets, how top students learn faster, remember more, and excel academically. So I would like to ask a question. If you want to speak, you tap on the five finger icon. I'll call your name and then you speak. I cannot allow everybody to speak, but maybe the first top three or the first top five, I'm going to allow you to speak. So this is what you are going to do. I would like to know so that even in my session tonight, I can also capture it. What is your biggest challenge when studying? So many of you are not studying at all. Some are not studying the way that they should. Some that are studying are having issues while studying. I want to know exactly what the issue is. What is the biggest challenge that you have right now when you are studying or when you are trying to study? What is that thing that is hindering you from studying the way that you really want? Is it distraction? One of my students told me, say, Coach Harry, I usually don't remember stuff. So I don't see any need to study. Is it that when you study, you don't used to remember? I would like to know. Is it a lack of understanding? I would like to know. So if you want to speak, all you need to do is to tap on the five finger icon. I will call your name and then you will tell us, I'll call your name. You will tell us, you introduce yourself by telling us your name, your grade, and then you go ahead with telling us your challenge so that we can address it tonight. All right, I think I'm seeing some hands raised. Let me check. Please hold on. I'll take like the first three or the first five, and then we'll just shoot from there. Faith Ebikade, you can unmute your mic. Please, if you are speaking, I would like to see your video so that I can see the person that is talking to me. Faith Ebikade, and then after Faith, I'll take Adenika Jani. So unmute your mic, turn on your video, tell us where you're calling from, your name, your age grade, and what is it that is the biggest challenge that you have when studying.
Good
Faith
evening, sir.
Ebikade, yes, good evening. Is it
Sir,
possible to turn on your video?
I'm trying it. It's not.
But if it's not okay where you are, you can go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, if it's not possible, go ahead with your.
Okay. Okay, sir. Good evening, sir. My name is Faith Ebikade. And the biggest challenge I have while studying is I get bored easily. I just get bored and I've just stopped.
All right, so these books now that you are reading, is it your academic books? Or when you are reading some other types of books, you don't get bored? I just want to know.
And when I'm reading some other, yes, my academic books. When I'm reading some other types of book, I don't get bored. When I'm reading my academic book, I get bored.
Okay, so what grade are you now? What class?
No,
What class are you, Faith Ebikade? I'm not done with you.
I'm
Oluwaseun,
sitting
mute
for
your
my.
mic. Oluwaseun, mute your mic. You are only allowed to unmute your mic when you want to speak. Thank you. So Faith Ebikade, go ahead. Let us know your grade.
I'm done with secondary school. I want to sit for my jam.
Fantastic. That's happening next week, right? Is it this week or next week? Faith, I'm not done with you. Is it this
Yes,
week
sir.
or next week? Oh, it's like your network is breaking. Oh, oh,
Yes, yes, sir.
fantastic. I can hear you now. So if I get you clearly, you're done with secondary school, you're writing. Okay, let me ask you one more question before I go back to Adeyinka. So what's your are you art oriented or science oriented? And what's your proposed course of study? And why? Go ahead, Faith. Faith, are you there? Oh, Faith is gone. Faith is gone. Faith is gone. If you can hear me, you tap on the five finger icon. I'll call your name again because I need to get those other responses. So Faith says that when she's reading, she get bored. I'll attend to that. Adenika Jani, please unmute your mic and speak.
My name is Ajani Esther. I am 12 years old. I'm in grade 7, but my greatest challenge is I easily get distracted. And when I get distracted, the thing I'm reading doesn't really flow and enter my brain. For instance, when I was doing my exam, a lot of distraction in my classroom. And it's quiet in the library. There's also noise there. So anytime I try to read and there's distraction, it just goes out.
All right, so that's noted. Where you are is actually very, very noisy. Because I would like to ask you some questions, but the noise at the background is too much. Is it possible you move away from there, or you tell someone around you to help calm? I don't know if the TV is on or if there's a child at the background. The noise is actually very much. But I got your response. Your response is that you usually get distracted. Please, the noise is too much. Let them know that you are live.
Yes,
Because this is a learning. Thank you. So you say you usually get distracted. So I would like to know what's your major source of distraction? What's that thing that usually distracts you when you are trying to study?
noise. Noise really distracts me a lot
Uh,
when there's noise making.
Very good. Just like as you are trying to learn now and there's noise at the background, it will distract you. And it's not just something that is peculiar to you. It is normal. Learning is something that require. Okay, you can mute your mic now so that the noise doesn't keep disturbing me. Mute your mic so that you can hear me. Yeah. So, is this not just something that is peculiar to you? It is best to learn when the environment is quiet. So, this is what I would say to you, Adeinka. Try as much as you can to ensure that you study. I would advise that you study. If you are a day student, try and do much of your study early in the mornings. So let's say you wake up 5 a.m. and prepare for school, because you know that maybe when you wake up, you have siblings, or maybe your parents can even want you to do something for them, and those things can distract you. What you need to do is to maximize your early mornings. If you are waking up 5:30 a.m. before, start waking up 5 a.m. If you are waking up 5 a.m., start waking up 4:30 a.m. so that at least you can have 30 minutes to yourself. And then you can improve with that over time. Have 30 minutes to yourself, 45 minutes to yourself, where you pray, you study either a book or your a self-development book, or your academic books, before you now start preparing for school. At least you know that you have studied something that day. Then maybe when you go to school and you come back, you have assignments to do. I don't know how your house is. If it's possible for you to move into a separate room, please do that, because learning requires a lot of quietness if you are going to get the best out of every study time. Also, talk to your parents. Talk to your parents so that they can also help you communicate to your. I don't know if you have siblings that are older than you, or maybe you are the senior, you have the ones that are younger than you. So what you want to do is talk to your parents so that everyone will understand that when you are studying, you are actually doing something that is very, very important, and you will need all the quietness in order for you to be able to concentrate. Because it's one thing to open a book and say you are reading, it's another thing to understand what you are reading, it's another thing for you to be able to remember what you are reading. So basically, those are some of the things that you can do in order to stem or reduce that distraction. Find a quiet place that you always for your study, and then try as much as you can to ensure that you do your study when others probably are still asleep early in the mornings. That's what I will recommend. And then the first person talked about um, reading being boring. When she's reading a book, she gets bored. So what you want to do first of all is that, and she said basically it's her academic books. Most of the times when people get bored on reading is because maybe the material they are reading is not something that excites or interests them. So personally, as a speed reading expert, when I want to inspire people to read, I ask them questions about what are their goals, where are they on their journey in life. For instance, as the first speaker is in SS3 getting into university, the second speaker is in GSS2. So they are having two different experiences entirely. They are two different journeys. The book I'll recommend for the 12-year-old will be different from the book that I recommend for the SS3 student that is going into the university. So the point I'm trying to make is you have to start with reading a material that interests you. Look for material. If you are going to become someone that loves to read, it starts by you first reading or looking out for materials that will interest you, to read. looking out for materials that will interest you to read. Please, I hope you can hear me. These two people are distracting me, and if they distract me too much, I'll send them away. They're on holiday like you, so I really don't know what to do now because their mom is busy. So what you want to do is start reading materials that excite you. That's the way you start, to remove that boredom. And then secondly, do you notice? Kelechi say I can hear you. Thank you. Do you notice that when you are on social, maybe some of you that you already have access to gadgets. Let's say you are on social media or you are watching your favorite movie and all of that. You are not usually bored though. You are not usually bored. That time you pay attention. In fact, you can stay for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. You will not be bored. But when it's time to open book, that's when you now get bored. Let me say this to you. The human brain likes enjoyment. You know your brain is the center of learning. And that your brain likes enjoyment. That's why you can watch a series movies 4 hours, you are not tired. Or you can be watching your cartoon and you are not tired. But when it's time to read your book, 30 minutes, you feel bored, you feel tired. But the human brain does not develop with enjoyment alone. It develops with you having discipline. It develops with you having a good studious, having a good reading culture. That's how your brain develops. So the point I'm making is that you have to retrain your brain to also the same way you love watching those movies and you don't get tired when you're watching them. You have to retrain your brain to understand that reading is something that is enjoyable. Reading is something that is pleasurable. It's something that you can look forward to. Just like the same way you like to, maybe after now you like to watch a movie and you will not get tired. You can also look forward to reading. So you retrain your brain. The way you retrain your brain is make sure that you have a consistent reading culture. So don't be like maybe Coach Harry that reads for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours daily. No, you can start with 15 minutes every day, 20 minutes every day, 25 minutes every day. And if you're a student listening to me on this live call, this is what I tell all of my students, and they obey me and they do it. So you don't need to be maybe part of our academy to do what I'm telling you now. Please don't only read your academic books. At every point in time, also have a self-development book that you are reading. The reason is simple. The school is not going to teach you everything. There are some other things that you need to learn that your school might not be teaching you. So you can also learn them as alongside your academic books. So one book at a time. Even if it is one book you are reading, one self-help book or self-development book that you are reading every month, just one aside because I understand that you guys have really a lot that you need to cover every 3 months. Some of you have some of you have 17 subjects that you do. Some of you have up to 20 subjects that you do. So that's really already a lot. So, but if you are reading, please, Nura, can you mute your mic? It's causing a whole. Make sure your mic is muted. So that's one major advice that I give to my students. Make sure that apart from your academic book, they are reading one other self-help book. And I usually recommend, for a start, I usually recommend Ben Carson's books. He has about 4 of them now. You Have a Brain, Think Big. Um, I've forgotten the other two titles, but they are very, very good books. Yeah, Ben Carson's stories is very, very, very inspiring. Very, 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 very inspiring. So you can get the hard copy, you read it, tell your parents they will get it for you. But if you are that student that also likes to read soft copy books, Coach Harry can send those books to you so that you can actually read them for yourself. So I've answered 2 questions. I will take Dingba Hope, and that will be the last for now. Then I will now go into my teaching session. Dingba, I'll go ahead, introduce yourself, and tell us what is it that's your biggest, what's that thing that's stopping you from reading the way that you really love. If possible, make sure your video is on. Dingba Hope, your hand is raised, but your mic is muted. In case you are speaking, you need to unmute your mic. If possible, turn on your video so that I can see your face. All right. So if Dimple, I hope is not speaking, please, if you are not saying anything, make sure that you don't tap on the five finger icon. Because whenever you tap on the five finger icon, it means that you have something that you want to say. So in the absence of no other, I wanted to take three, but in the absence of no other person, I'll just go straight into okay, Dimple, I hope your video is on. Are you ready to speak now? But your mic is still muted. You can unmute it. Tap on the microphone icon so that if you are saying something, we can hear you. If you are saying something, we are not hearing you because your mic is muted. Tap on that microphone icon so that it can be unmuted. There's a mic icon. Yes, it's unmuted. Speak now. We can hear you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. I didn't. Please, can you come again with the question that you asked?
The question is, what's your biggest challenge when studying? I want to know. Some of you are not reading the way you're supposed to be reading. There's something hindering you. Some of you, when you read, you have challenges. So I want to know.
Okay. Mine is that when I'm reading, I need to understand what I'm reading. So
Okay, so what?
I
Go
think
ahead. Go ahead.
okay. I think maybe I have maybe a personal issue or something that makes me not to understand.
Understand.
So I was like trying to go like trying to examine myself. So I found out that I have issues in spelling. So I'm still working on it. And another thing is that when I get to the exam hall, maybe after reading, I get to the exam hall, I may likely forget everything I read.
Okay, so you talked about understanding and forgetting. And the truth is that if you read and you don't understand, you will not remember. So when I'm introducing myself, I said I'm a speed reading expert. I help people, I train people from all walks of life to read books faster, understand better, remember more, and execute
So
aggressively. So what I'm saying is you need to understand first. If you don't understand, you will not be able to remember. Understanding is the foundation that helps you to remember. So I will talk. It's like you want to say something.
okay. What I want to say is that I'm in higher institution now, 100
So
level. I
what
just
what's
started
your course study? What's your course of study?
English education department.
That's the department. What's your course of study?
English.
Okay, English, very good. Do you love it? Or that's what the school gave
Yes.
you?
I love it.
That's what you wanted to do.
Not really. I wanted to
Oh,
study law. I
uh-huh.
wanted to study law.
You wanted
So
to study law.
because
Go
of
ahead.
English, because when I was in secondary school, after WAEC, I paid my WAEC. So I was not serious then. So after
Thank you
that
for being
exam,
honest.
I took I took NECO and I failed. I passed all the whole subject. So I failed. I got D7 in English. I retake another exam. I even went all the way from Oyo. I went there to go and take exam. Getting there, I also failed English. So that's making three times. So the last exam I took, not recently, so I passed. I got credit. So I thank God for that.
Okay. So back to what I was saying before you now brought this up. Thanks for the clarity that you gave us. I also thank you for being honest. You said that you were not serious that time, but thank God you are serious now. So one of the things that hinder people from even understanding what they are reading is that most of the time, for somebody like you now, you wanted to do law, and today now you find yourself doing English. If you don't like your course of study, you will struggle. It's a normal thing. I didn't like what I wanted to do banking and finance. Before I got admission, my mom was running a hotel. There's a restaurant in that hotel, and when I'm on holiday, I used to help my mom. I noticed that anytime the bankers come, they used to make the most orders. They used to buy more, and they always look neat. So as a child growing up or a young adult growing up, I just loved the way they used to dress, and I said I was going to do banking and finance. But you know how it is. I said I failed YX 3 times, I failed JAM 3 times. So at the end of the day, I was ready to settle for anything. And then I got how I even got admission was because I was not passing JAM. I had to now go do a pre-degree program for 1 year. I did that in University of Port Harcourt. Then I got admission in 2006. I graduated 2010. So the point I'm making is initially I did not like education because they were training me to become a teacher. But at some point, I knew that I had 4 years to be on this campus. And I cannot afford to come here and waste those 4 years. Even if this is not what I really would love to do, I would decide to embrace it and pay attention to it. So that at the end of the day, my 4 years will not be wasted. That's what I did. In fact, nobody taught me this. I just thought about it one day. I said, even if this is not what I wanted, you know, no knowledge is a waste. That's what came to my head that time. No knowledge is a waste. I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to learn and make sure that at least I come out with a good result. And I thank God that I did, because today I'm a teacher. I coach, I train, I consult. I might not be teaching in the classroom, but I'm a teacher. And the things I learned from my education department is now helping me. See the way I started this live session by conversing with us, asking questions, getting us involved. These are the things that they taught us in education. As I'm talking, let's say I'm having a one-on-one with you. It's just me and you. I can begin to sense if you are getting tired. I can sense from afar if you are not paying attention. These are the things that they taught us in what we call psychology of education. There's psychology of education, there's philosophy of education, so many things they taught us about education. So that knowledge that I got that time is useful for me now. I know classroom management. I know how to handle students that have difficulties because of my background. Everything I've said so far, Dimba, is to help you to understand that one of the major things that will make you to read and not understand is that you are first of all not even very, very interested in that particular material. For you now, maybe your course of study. So you need to reorient your brain and say, this is where I am. I need to pay attention. That's number one. And then you now begin to, for somebody like you don't need to be doing long hour of study. Study for like 15 to 30 minutes per time. I'm going to talk about it today. It's called the Pomodoro technique. 15 to 30 minutes per time. Close the material and begin to ask yourself questions. What did I just read? What did I learn from it? What's the new knowledge? What is it that I thought was true before that based on what I just read now, I now understand differently? These are some of the things that you do, and then your brain begins to come alive. You begin to understand what you have read. Anything you understand, it will be very difficult for you to forget them during your exam. The things that we easily forget during the exam are the things that we did not understand very well. So in course of the training tonight, already is part of what I'm going to be talking about. So I will encourage you to actually stay connected and listen to everything that we are doing. So once more, I'd say a very big thank you and welcome to everybody. It's 8:37 already. We have spent like over 30 minutes taking hearing from us, and I do not see it as a waste. Had it been that I even had more hands on, if I just come live and I answer all of your questions, maybe in the next somebody's mic is unmuted, it's causing noise in my ear. Nura, please mute your mic, please. I beg you, don't unmute it again. Thank you. I don't like to. I would not like to remove anybody from this live. So make sure your mic is muted. It's only when you want to speak. And when you want to speak, you tap on the 5 finger icon. I will see your hands up. I'll call your name and then you speak. I've muted you. Please don't unmute it again. So tonight, let's talk about smart study secrets. The students that are doing very well in your class, they have study secrets that the rest of you do not know. Dimpa, also mute your mic now. We are done taking your response. So you can also mute your mic so that there'll be no noise at the background. Is TJ, can you mute your mic? Please mute your mic. Muted your mic, don't unmute it. Anybody that unmutes his or her mic now, I will evict the person. I will remove the person because it's causing a lot of distraction. Make sure your mic is muted. Don't play with your device. Just listen. If you want to say something, tap on the five-finger icon. I'll call your name. So let's talk about how top students learn faster, remember more, and excel. When I was in school, especially in university, I noticed that some students, some of us in our department, were always coming out like top three, top five, top seven. And so one of the things I did was I decided to get closer to these students. Some of them in class, they play a lot. In fact, they even distract other people. But when they are alone, they have their own study time. They come to school, they can distract other people, but they have their own study time. And when they are studying alone, nobody is distracting them. So when I began to get closer to these students, I found out one of the things I found out was that they had a study routine. They had a particular time that they studied. And when it is that time, they discipline themselves to make sure that they study. They do revisions very well. They don't only study the books that are recommended by the lecturer. I was in university then. They also go ahead to use the library and read other books in that particular course. They do research, they use the internet. For me, before then, if the lecturer says, this is the book we are reading, that's the only thing I will read. So as I got closer to them, I began to learn this thing by observation. I didn't even tell them this is why I want to make friends with you or get close to you. By observation. And I began to do those things and I began to get better results. Some of you, the difference between where you are and where you need to be in your academics is to change your association. You are going to be friendly with everybody, but the ones that are the students that are supposed to be your close pals are those that can inspire you. In fact, it's better to move or to hang around the students that are doing better than you than the ones that you are doing better than, sorry. Because if you are the most brainy among your students, you'll be feeling like you are doing very well. Some parents change their children's school when they notice that their son or their daughter is always coming out first. And then they will move the child from that school to another school because they want the child to be in another environment where the child can be challenged, where somebody else can do better. So that's what you want to do. I said all of that just to buttress on our subtopic that says how top students learn faster, remember more, and even excel. So we want to talk about why students struggle. We want to know how the memory works. The memory is the center of learning. It is the part of your brain that helps you to learn. But so many of us don't know how it works. So we'll talk about it. Then I'll teach us how to apply some smart study techniques. And then we'll now talk about building effective study habits. So the problem here is that most students, remember our first objective is to understand why students struggle. Number one is passive reading. So many of you are reading and you are not active while you are reading. I just said something, I'll repeat what I said. When you are reading, ask questions. That's you being active. Reading is not a passive activity. You need to be active when you are reading. And one of the things you can do is to ask questions when you are reading. Challenge what you are learning. Do more research. Share what you have learned. When you are doing all of those things, you are becoming active, not just passive. Some of you, the only thing you do is to cram. You just want to cram because you have exam. And then after the exam, you are done with that particular subject. That's not how it works. We don't read to cram, we read to learn. We need to understand. Because the knowledge that you are getting today, you will need it tomorrow, after 5, 10 years. So we don't encourage our students to just to only cram. We expect you to make sure that you read to understand that particular material. So cramming here is number two. So many students have issues with studying or they don't get the best out of their study time because all they do is to just cram. We call it last minute study. So when exams on, I have some young adults around me. You will never see them open any books to read until when it's time for exam. That's when they open books to read. The next one is the lack of focus. You are reading, your mind is in something else. The thing is that we have 24 hours in a day, and you have decided you want to read for just 15 minutes, just 15 minutes, why not focus on that 15 minutes and get the best out of that study time? Why not focus on that 30 minutes so that when you are done, you can go and do that other thing? So if you are going to deal with distraction, the first thing you want to do is to make sure that you note what your distraction is. Your distraction is not my distraction. My distraction is not another person's distraction. So you need to know what your own distraction is. Somebody said noise. Another person says my gadgets. Another person says social media. Another person says my parents. Yes, your parents can also distract you when you are trying to study. That's when they want to tell you to go and do this, to go and do that, to go and do the other one. So what I tell my students, especially if I have access to their parents, I also let the parents know. This doesn't happen all the time. Most of our parents, when they see us studying, because that's what they want, they will allow us to do our study. So there's time for everything. If you do your chores, nobody will call you when you are studying. So note what your distraction is. Then find out or ask questions about how you can, overcome them. And some students don't have a study system at all. No system, no structure. They don't have a time to study. They don't even have a timetable. They don't have an allotted time for studying. They don't have a timetable. They read when they study when they feel like. If you are going to be if you are going to be a student with a good reading culture, you cannot be reading only when you feel like. You have to structure it. We read. Do you? Let me ask you this question. Don't unmute your mic. Oh. Don't unmute your mic, please. I don't want any noise. Just use the chat. If you are using your tablet or your phone, you see in call message. Use it to type. Do you only bait when you feel like baiting? Yes or no? Just use the chat. I'm using that. I want to create a scenario in your head. Whether you feel like baiting, you don't feel like baiting, you go ahead to bait. The question is, Maria said no. Because the thing is, if you are only baiting when you feel like baiting, you will not bait. Sometimes in 2 days you have not baited. Before I came on this live, I went to bait because for me, I know myself as a teacher or a coach. When I'm having a session and I bait, it has water touches my head. There's something it does to me. It helps me to be refreshed. It helps me to deliver better. I even brushed my teeth before I came live. You are not with me also. If there's an odor in my mouth, you will not you will not perceive it. But I baited, I also bait I baited and I brushed before I came to teach you. So some students don't have a study system at all, no timetable. The only time they will read is when their parents ask them to do so. There are more problems, but I'll just limit it to these four: passive reading, cramming, time minutes studying, 3 days to the exam. You see them running up and down. They had 3 months. So I always tell my students, exam starts the day you resume. In fact, I want you to type it in the chat. My exam starts on the first day of resumption. Use the chat and write it. My exam starts on the first day of resumption. My exam starts on the first day of resumption. We are going to resume school next week, Monday. Immediately you resume school, your exam have started. Smart students know that, so they approach it as though they are going to write their exam next day. But the other ones, they will just feel relaxed. Oh, we still have 2 months to our exam, 2 months plus to our exam. Thank you, Faith Ebikade. My exam starts on the first day of resumption. Thank you. That's what I want to see. So the key truth here is that hard work without strategy will lead to frustration. You must have a strategy. Let's talk about how the human memory works. Let us talk about how the human memory works. Only Faith Ebikade typed, okay, yes, Maria Okukon. I like students that engage when we are having a session. And then Adegbite, Thank you. Melody also. Okay, I guess the others are typing. Some are faster than others. Okay, so keep those comments coming in. That's how I know that you are listening and then you are learning or you are gaining value from the session we're having. Let's talk about how the memory works. So the human memory is divided into three parts. We have the sensory, we have the short term, and then we have the long term memory. Thank you, Chinemere Boniface. Thank you, Melody. We have the sense. Thank you, Halimot Raji. We have the sensory memory, you have the short term memory, you have the long term memory. In case somebody is asking, Coach Harry, what is memory? Memory is the part of your brain that helps you to learn. Do you know why you are on this live? Thank you, Mahmuda Abdul Wahid. Do you know why you're on this live and you are learning right now? Because you have a functional memory. There are some students that I know that are taking up substance already. They're in secondary school, but they have started taking substance and it has started affecting their memory. They don't know that it has started affecting their memory and they have issues with remembering stuff. Think I hope. Thank you. I see your comment also. So the memory is the part of your brain that helps you to learn, helps you to understand, helps you to remember stuff. Oluwaseun Osibanjo, I see your comment. So like I said, we have the sensory, short-term, and long-term memory. The sensory memory can take information for about 0 to 10, 15 minutes, seconds. If you don't do anything with that information, you'll forget it. The short-term memory can take information and stay longer with that information, maybe 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes. But if nothing is done with that information, you can forget it. But the long-term memory can absorb information or remember information for a lifetime. There's no time I will ask you what's your name that you forget. Some of you will never forget your birthday date. You will never forget your phone number. Some of you have accounts, especially those that are already in university. You have an account number. If I ask you now, I want to send you money, send me your account number, sharp, sharp, because it is stored in your long-term memory. Kelechi, I see your comments. It's stored in your long-term memory. As a smart student, you want to learn how to transfer information from the sensory to the short-term and then to the long-term memory. When you do that, you'll be able to remember more of what you are reading. And that's where this encoding, storage, and retrieval comes in. Encoding is how you take in information. As I'm talking to you right now, you are listening. You are taking in information. If I say anything that gets your attention, you begin to think about it. You begin to think about it. Maybe I've said something now, you have never heard it before. Okay, let me use one of the statements I made. I said exam starts on the first day of resumption. Maybe in your mind before, your exam will start on the week of exam. But you have learned something new today, that your exam starts on the day of resumption. So you heard that for the first time. You are now taking in that information. You now begin to think about it. Do you know what you are doing? As you are thinking about that information, you are moving the information from the sensory to the short-term memory. And the more you do that, you get to a place that you now understand that information. Sometimes you even raise your hand to ask questions. Once you understand that information will now be stored into your long-term memory. When it's stored into your long-term memory, you have kept that information. You have stored it. Let's say you resume school on Monday and then you did biology. Your first class was they taught you something in your biology class. You understood it, you studied it properly. Your exam is coming up in 3 months' time. You do your revision. That's a question comes out from what was taught next week Monday, and you remember it. The third one is now called retrieval. It means recalling it. Anytime you are able to retrieve that information, it means that it was well stored. I usually tell students, anytime you are learning something, you understand something, one of the things you want to do is want to write it down. You must have a personal note apart from the classroom notes. So that when you are reading the textbook, anything you understand, you write it down. During the exam, you are revising the notes they gave you in class. You are also revising your personal notes. So the learning principle here is that the brain remembers what it actively engages with. Don't be a passive learner. Be an active learner. Joy Sunday, I see your response. So I want you to type, I am an active learner. Type that, I am an active learner. The brain will remember what it actively engages with. So you want to be an active learner. You don't want to be a passive learner. Thank you, Chinemerem. Boniface, I'm an active learner. Thank you. Why do we usually, thank you, Melody. Why do we usually advise that you have a study group? Why? Because we want you to be an active learner. They teach you biology. You join your Bible, your study group, and you guys are discussing what you have learned, asking questions. You are engaging on what you have learned. Oluwakemi Adejonwa, I see you. Mahmoud Abdulwahid Kelechi, I see you. Oluwaseun, I am an active learner. Don't be a passive learner. Research what you are learning. Joy Sunday, I see you. Nura, I see you. Research, ask questions. Browse the internet. Some of you are connected to device, but you are not using it well. YouTube is your best friend. Go to YouTube and type anything. You will see so many videos that have been done. You will learn more. Mario Kokon, I see you. Tokwe Ajani, Peter Bikade, thank you. You are an active learner. So if you are going to, if you are going to, if you are really going to be a student that, you are going to be a student that is going to excel, you must have good study habits. You must know how the human memory also works. So active recall. Learning principle number one, active recall. Close your book. Ask yourself, what did I just learn? I've mentioned that before. Don't be in a hurry to move on to the next note. That's not how learning works. So where are you rushing to? It's better to read only one chapter and understand what you have read than trying to read 5 chapters or 3 chapters at the same time. You're not trying to impress anybody. At the end of the day, we'll know, we'll see it in your results. Close the book and ask yourself, what did I just learn? These are learning principles that work. There's what we call space repetition. There's what we call space repetition. It's also part of learning. You learn, you review what you have learned, you review again, you review again. It helps that learning to be very, very strong in your memory. So you can read a book twice. You can read your notebook twice, thrice. You review them. So many of us, we write notes, but we never review our notes. If you are guilty of this, throw up an emoji, let me see. Don't, I will not call your name in case your parents are around you. Just give me an emoji. You are a student, you write notes, but you don't review that note. Give me an emoji. So on your device, you see different emojis, whether it's love, or a thumbs up, or a laughing emoji, or a clapping emoji. Just use it. Yeah, I'm seeing your emoji, so don't worry. I won't call your name. So you have to go back to review, because that's how you remember. If you don't review them, you'll forget. Another thing you can do is to teach what you learn. If you can teach it, it means that you understand it. Okay, I think the third person that spoke was Dimple Hope, and she talked about remembering stuff. If you want to test whether you understand something, try and teach it to somebody else. So many of us as students, you are very stingy, very greedy with knowledge, because you want to carry first. Anything you learn, you hide it. There's a place in the Bible that I love. Say that the soul that refreshes other people will also be refreshed. Let me say this, and I want you to type it. Teaching is learning twice. Type it. Teaching is learning twice. Type it. Teaching is learning twice. Thank you, Ayo Temitokwe. Thank you, Chinemere. Anytime you are teaching something you know, you are learning again. Why is it that people like us that are teachers, why is it that we tend to be more intelligent than others? Because we are always teaching. Melody, I see your response. Lower Shem, Faith Ebikade. It's almost as if it's the same set of people that are actively involved. We have almost 40 persons on this live, but I'm seeing the same set of people responding. Mahmoud, Oluwakemi, Kelechi, those are the people that are responding. Others should respond. Shegun, I see you now. Adegboyega. Baba Yemi Samuel. Teaching is learning twice. Thank you. Anytime you are teaching something, you are learning again. Do you know that because of this session, there's nothing on this slide that I don't know, I cannot teach from my head? Because I've been doing this for over 10 years now. Oluwashino, I see you. Zinkpa, I hope I see you. But because I don't just want to come and say what I already know before, I want to learn more. I want to be able to teach new things. I did researches on some of these things again. And as I'm doing that, I'm getting better. I'm learning more. Tokwe Ajani, Mario Kokon, I see you. So don't hoard information. That's not how to be smart. Teach what you know. As you are teaching, you are also learning twice. Now, there's what we call the Pomodoro technique. This is another learning strategy that so many students don't know. Jubil says, Jubil Saidu, teaching is learning twice. Thank you. There's what we call the Pomodoro technique. Laura, I will explain to you. Let's say you want to read for 1 hour. Don't try to read for 1 hour at a stretch. Bello, thank you. I see your response. Don't try to read for 1 hour at a stretch. Read for 15 minutes. Rest for 5 minutes. Read for another 15 minutes. Read for 5 minutes. Read for another 15 minutes. Read for 5 minutes. If you do this thing I said now, those of you that are saying, oh, when I read, my focus, understanding, you're going to start getting better results. The Pomodoro technique works. Professionals use it. Business owners use it. I use it. Students also use it. That's why I'm recommending it. If you are reading for 1 hour, don't try to read at a stretch. Take breaks in between. Let me explain this to you. There's what we call the law of depreciation. When I started teaching, I was full of energy, but I've been talking for 1 hour now. The law of depreciation has started setting in. I'm becoming a little bit tired. The energy I started with is not the same energy that I have now. Even you that is listening to me, you were more alert at the beginning than you are right now. The law of depreciation. But let me say this. When you apply the Pomodoro technique, let's say you read for 15 minutes. You now take a break for 5 minutes. When you come back, you are triggering your brain to believe that you just started reading. Remember, you have been reading for the past 20 minutes or 15 minutes. When you retake a break and come back, your brain feels like you just started reading. Your focus will increase. Your understanding will also increase. Make sure you take notes. You are going to forget 70% of what you learn in 72 hours. All this BB grammar that I'm speaking today that you like to hear or you are liking or you are enjoying, after 3 days, you are going to forget 70% of what I've said. You only remember about 30%. So that's why it's important that when you are reading, when you are in a meeting like this, a webinar, a conference, make sure that you are writing things down. Don't rely on your memory like that. They say that the shortest pen is the longest memory. Write things down. Every student must love to write. I've noticed that some students don't love to write, and it's a very bad thing. The things that you write down, after a while, when you review them, you will not remember what was taught that particular day. You will not remember. That's how it works. So there are different memory stages, strategies. In order for you to remember more, there's what we call the law of association. Try and link what you are learning to something that you already know. It will help you to also remember more. The law of association. You are reading a book on finance and a chapter is talking about savings. Before you even start reading the chapter, begin to ask yourself, I'm a student, I'm not earning. Is it possible to save? If I'm going to save, maybe from my allowance, how many percent should I save? What if my allowance is not enough? Should I still save? You have not started reading, no, you're already asking questions. It's called the law of association. By the time you start reading the book and you now begin to get answers relating to some of the questions, they stick. When you have a question in your mind, you read a book, you get the answer, you have the ability to understand and remember more. Law of visualization. You have to learn how to create images with the things that you are reading. Learn how to create images. Turn information into images. Your brain loves it and it helps you to remember. There is what we call chunking. So many of us don't know about this. There's what we call chunking. It helps you also to remember stuff. Let's say my phone number is 08062158592 and I want to memorize it. Instead of me to say 08062158592, I will say 08062158592. I chunked it. 08062158592, 08062158592. So instead of me to say 11 words, I've said just 4. 08062158592. I can even say 080 561 852 92. I've chunked it into 3. It helps me to remember. Then also another thing that can help your memory is repetition. Repetition. Very, very key, very important. You have learned, I talked about reading a book more than once. It helps. It helps you to understand. So lastly for today, we'll talk about self-management and discipline. I'll take 1 or 2 questions and then we will be done. I didn't want this webinar to exist 9. It's already after 9. It's a good thing that tomorrow we are not going to school. So at least let's talk about self-management and discipline. Success in academics is more about discipline than intelligence. Remember, I told you before. Intelligence alone does not guarantee academic success. You need to have what we call self-management. So many of you, oh, somebody is asking what's the meaning of chunking. I just explained it. Bringing group of words together in order for it to be more memorable. So I use my phone number as an example. So let's talk about self-management. So many of you have parents that are pushing you, inspiring you. They try to discipline you. Tell you wake up. So one of my parents, one of the parents of my student said, I have decided not to wake my children up anymore in the morning. If they want to go to school late, let them go. So usually she wake them up by 5 o'clock because they need to be in school by 6:30 or 7 o'clock because she has to drop them and then she will go to our workplace. But they are of age now. They are 14, 15, 16. So she said, I've stopped waking them up. That's discipline. Your mom now is saying that from now on, you have to wake up by yourself. If you have parents that are doing all those things for you, you have to really, 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 really appreciate them. You have to appreciate them. Some of you see it as punishment. You must have a study timetable. This is what I'm going to study on Monday, Tuesday. When some of you now you're on holiday for 3 weeks, you did not open your book. You're just flexing. You're just enjoying yourself. Anytime you're on holiday, 3 weeks, read at least 1 book before you go back. Even if you have other extracurricular activities, you are learning a skill These are amazing, but always be with a book. Limit your distractions. Some of you, if you can do away with phone, your life will be very good. Your phone is not the one controlling you. Some of you don't even have phone, no. You take your mommy's own, take your dad, any slight opportunity you have, you want to be on device. And you are on device, you are not doing anything productive. Set clear goals. This is what I'm going to read so and so time. I'll finish this book by weekend, and then do well to stay consistent. Sometimes tell your mom, tell your dad, this is the book I'm reading. I want you to hold me accountable. By the end of this week, I should be able to finish this book. So I want you to call me and ask me if I finished it. Because you know that somebody is going to ask you. It can help you to be consistent. Some of us will read something, read today. For the next 3 days, 4 days, you are not reading. Some of us only during exam. So the key insight here is that success is more about discipline than intelligence. Some students might not appear to be as intelligent as others, but they get better grades because they are more disciplined than even the ones that tend to be very, very intelligent. All right, so we are going to have, in closing, we are going to have a 5-day challenge. A 5-day challenge. Day one, you are going to involve or you are going to do what we call active recall. Remember, I talked about it in course of this training. Active recall number day one. Study a topic for 20-30 minutes. Close your book. Write or say something or everything you remember. That's active recall. Day one, tomorrow, anything, pick up a book to read. Then, after 20 minutes, close the book and try to ask yourself, what did I just learn? Anything you remember, write it down or say it. This forces your brain to retrieve information. It strengthens your memory faster than even rereading. For example, instead of reading a biology note 3 times, read it once and try to recall without looking at the notes. You are forcing your brain to remember. Day two, use the Pomodoro technique. Study for 15 minutes, rest for 5 minutes. Study another 15 minutes, rest for 5 minutes. It helps your concentration and then it prevents burnout. You will not be tired. No phone, no distraction during that 15 minutes, even when you are on break. Day three, teach what you learn. Pick a topic you studied. Explain it to your friend. Explain it to your parents. So teaching exposes what you don't understand. When you are teaching other people, you will know what you understood and what you did not understand. And it helps you to gain more clarity and confidence. The more you teach others, the more confident you get. The powerful line here is that if you can't explain it, you don't understand it well enough. Therefore, space repetition. Go back and review that note. It moves information from sensory memory to the long-term memory. And then day five, combine all of them. So maybe this is what I would do, because I know so many of you are using your parents and device. I'll copy this 5-day challenge and then I will drop it on our platform. Your parents are going to see it and then they are going to give it to you so that you can write it out. Okay, yeah, very simple, very simple. I will drop this PowerPoint slide on our platform tomorrow morning. I'll also drop the replay of this video. So on the PowerPoint slide, you are going to see this 5-day challenge, and I want you to participate. Do the day one, do the day two, do the day three. Do it for this week before you now resume school on Monday. This weekend, before I'll take your questions, this weekend, what I just did now is a 1-hour session, and I know that so many of you have questions. Some of you have some of the things I said are things that I need to go deeper on. So this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm going to be having a 3 days workshop with us. I call it the Academic Excellence Bootcamp. It's going to be live online like this. On Friday, we'll come live 8:30 or 8 o'clock, sorry. On Saturday, we'll come live. And then on Sunday, the same thing. And I just need 20 to 25 students. So I will drop the information on the platform. If everything you have heard so far, you love it, and you still want to learn more, all you need to do is to communicate to your parents. They are going to sign you up. They will add you to a group so that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I can go deep down on some of these things that I've taught you. And so that by the time you resume on Monday, you are on fire. All right, so I'm going to take your questions now. If you have a question, thank you for your emojis. I'm seeing it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So if you have a question, tap on the 5-finger icon. Based on everything that we have taught tonight, you have a question. Talk with Ajani, say, how do I know you're in the group? Don't worry. You will know if you are in the group. Once your parents signs you up, we'll add you to the group. And then you can always, anytime you will always get information on the group. That's how you know that you're in the group. Because the 3 days boot camp is not free. Your parents will sign you up. And then if you don't have your personal device, they will, they will be added to the group. And then whenever it's time for us to come live on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the reason why I said 8 p.m. or we'll consider 8 or 8:30 p.m. is because we want to be sure that by that time, those that are using their parents' device, their parents will have been back from work. Thank you, Ayo Temitokwe. Success is about discipline, not intelligence alone. Thank you. Thank you. So if you have learned anything you want to share, this is the right time. Tap on the 5-finger icon, or you want to ask a question. I'm expecting to see a lot of hands up. I want to know what you have learned tonight. Usually we wait for the first person to speak. Then all of us will now want to speak. I'll take one or two. You have learned something tonight. You have a question you want to ask. Tap on the 5-finger icon. Are we shy? Of course, I don't have shy students. You tap on the 5-finger icon. I will see your hands up. Hi, Tim Dokwa, are you trying to say something or you are just giving a thumbs up? If I do not see, okay, one person, Hosseini Latifat, please unmute your mic and speak. If possible, you can turn on your video.
My question is, how can you keep consistency? That's just my question. How can you keep consistency?
Very good. So Hosseini wants to know, Latifat wants to know, how can I be consistent with my reading? Number one, I talked about structure. Have a timetable. You need to have a guide. You will not always be motivated to do the right things. You will not always be. How do you stay consistent? Okay, let me not go there. That's the second thing I'm going to say. Number one, have a timetable. That timetable provides a structure. So on Monday, I'll read by 5 p.m. or my reading time or period or study hours are 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. 5 a.m. this is what I'll read, 5 p.m. this is what I read. When you look at that timetable, there are times that you will not feel like, but because you have said you are going to do it, you will now force yourself to do it. So that's one of the major things that you can do to stay consistent. Number two, you can even have a study partner. The time that you don't want to read, your partner can be of help. But if you're alone, when you don't feel like, you're not accountable to anybody, you will do it when you like. And when you don't like, you will not do it. Number three, if you are going to stay consistent, you must have a very strong purpose behind reading. I didn't mention it throughout my 1 hour session with you, but this point is very, very important. So many students are not reading the way they are supposed to read because they don't have a strong purpose attached to reading. The things that we do and the things we don't do is based on the meaning that we have attached to those things. Why do you brush your teeth every day? You don't want to have a bad mouth odor. You don't want to have it. You know that if you don't brush your teeth, when you speak, people cover their nose. So you brush every day, even on the days you don't feel like. Why do you bathe every day? Some of us, sometimes when it's time to go to school, we wake up in the morning, the weather is very cold. There's no heated water, but we still bathe because it freshens us up. It helps us to smell nice. The same thing too with reading. You need to have a strong reason attached to the purpose of reading. If not, you will not read. What will reading do for you? That's the question. I spoke to one of my students, one-on-one students. I'm going to continue with him tomorrow. Ask him, he's in SS2, and then he's about to go into SS3, and then university. So I asked him, are you science or art oriented? I said science oriented. Have you thought about a career path? He said robotics engineering. I love it. But you see, I now began to explain to him. I began to talk to him about the connection between reading and becoming a successful robotic engineer. I was trying to give him a purpose, a strong purpose, why he should take reading seriously. So I've mentioned three things here. If you do those three things, you become more consistent. Number one, have a study timetable. Number two, accountability. Have a partner. Number three, attach a strong purpose, the purpose of reading. That number three is more important than the others. All right. So in the absence of no other hands up, it simply means that everything I've said, you understand it and you are ready to put it to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this live so that the replays can be made available in case you want to watch it later. Please, I'm going to be dropping information about the academic excellence bootcamp that is happening on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Your parents are going to see it. When they see it, you tell them, I love what Kuchari did. I love what he taught. He said he's going to teach us more about study habits. I'm going to take day one, talk about study habits. I'll talk about how to remember stuff. And then number three, I'll talk about how to deal with distraction and probably other things that um, we are going to discuss Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The idea is that we need you to go to school on Monday, fired up, ready to put in your best, and to get your best grades ever. So I want to say a very big thank you to everyone. Thank you so much for joining live. I am bringing the recording to an end so that I can make the replays available for us.